Ken O'Neill, and this is CSBN, the Collegiate Summer Baseball Network. My special guest today is Justin Sellers of the Coastal Plain League. And welcome, Justin, to the show.
Thank you, Ken. Glad to be here.
Now, the Coastal Plain League, they start their schedule on May the 28th, which is about 5 months away. Now, what do you have to do to prepare for that 5 months to get to that first game?
That's a great question. Everything from making sure the team operations are ready to go, our facilities are up to the norms prior to the season, after the off season, which has gotten better over the years. A lot of our teams do secondary events throughout the year, so it keeps those facilities operational year round. But really getting the schedule done, getting our umpire schedule done. We're partnered with minor league baseball umpire development for our umpires. So I'm going to be shoving down to Vero Beach, Florida in a couple of weeks to meet with minor league baseball and their umpire advanced course. And then we'll get our umpires situated and go through all that process. We have operational meetings in April with all of our GMs and AGMs and front office staff to go through all the policies and such. And then, getting things ready for our coaches. We'll have, last year we were fortunate. I think we only had 2 new coaches from the year before. But this year we've got a handful. I think we've got about 6 newbies this year that we'll have to make sure that they understand how we do things here, what our policies are, how to appeal an ejection, things like that. So it's a lot of operational type nuts and bolts from soup to nuts to get through the next few months. And as we all know, it goes by very quickly. So while we're here freezing right now in North Carolina today, it'll be warm enough soon, and we'll be out on that diamond. So.
Now, what kind of difference is there between last year and this year? Are there more teams, less teams? How is that going to go this year?
We are actually down 1 team that's active this year, our Fayetteville franchise, because of minor league baseball coming into Fayetteville, last year officially with their new facility there. We're just not able to compete there with 2 teams in 1 location and kind of the lease offerings that were given. So that team has gone dormant for 2020, and we'll be currently are looking at a couple of landing spots for it to rebound in for 2021. So we do have a new team, our Edenton franchise. We parted mutually. We had basically outgrown that market as far as the league goes, and we moved into a new market up in Colonial Heights, Virginia, outside of Richmond. That's now the Tri-City Chili Peppers. And so they'll be a new franchise this year operating. So we'll be at 15. We're going to switch from a 4-division look to a 2-division look. So East and West, essentially a by-95, and 8 teams in 1 division, 7 in the other. But should be, pretty competitive. A lot of the teams, some of the new coaches that have come on have good resumes and such, and they're, from the rosters that we've seen coming in, player contracts and such, it looks like it will be another competitive summer for us.
Now, Major League Baseball and minor league baseball are having a reorganization, and they're negotiating right now, and there's going to be somewhere around 40 teams who will be losing their franchises. Now, will that help you in recruiting? Will that help you more teams? Because I've heard that Dansville, Bristol, and Burlington might get into your league in 2020 or 2021. Well, not 2020, but 2021.
That's still to be seen. We've been kind of sitting on the sidelines. We obviously are got our thumb up in the air trying to gauge the winds. But anytime you're looking at something that dramatic of a change for MLB and MILB, it's something that we'll have to see how it goes. Now, obviously, and I'll use a perfect example. Savannah is in our market and is in our team, in our league. And, that was a former minor league city where the team left and went to seek a new facility in Columbia, South Carolina, a new market with a new facility. And and we filled the void that was left behind in Savannah, and I think have filled it very comfortably. So if there are markets that get contracted with this process between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball, and they are in our footprint, then I would think we would do our due diligence to investigate and go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, and find out if they are markets that we would be interested in, given that we have the footprint of several of the teams that have been listed, so to speak.
Now, if the expansion happens, say, and you get 3 more teams, is that going to make? Will there be more travel? Is it incorporated into one? So that how would that work?
That's a great question, and this comes from our owners from time to time. As we continue to expand our footprint. Yes, there'll be some travel to some degree, but as we have discussed in our meetings, the idea for us would be to go into multiple divisions, essentially, or potentially going into an AL NL look with an AL West and an AL Central or AL East type hybrid model. So, depending on where the teams are and how many we get, it doesn't necessarily mean that the travel on a day-to-day basis through the regular season would increase. We would try to keep that limited within divisions. But then, the championship series at the end of the year and our playoff format could end up being, somebody like a team out of Virginia facing a team out of Georgia. But that's still to be known. But yes, the way we would look to do is this year was kind of an odd one because of switching back to 2 divisions. But the last couple of years before, we had been at 4 divisions, and that's probably what we would end up going back to, is a 4-division look and dropping in teams based on their geographic locale.
Now, in Major League Baseball, there, of course, is a cheating scandal going on between the Astros and the Red Sox. The Astros, as you know, had some Leno, the GM, and then the manager was fired, and then the 2 Boston guys were fired, and then Carlos Beltran had a problem with the Mets. He's not there anymore. Yeah. Will you address that coming up this year with the teams to tell them that this is not right?
Oh yeah, we have streaming. All of our games are streamed online, and our teams do a good job of broadcasting their games. So and we also have a partnership with TrackMan, where we have TrackMan systems in our facilities, and that turns data over in real time that we can utilize as well. And so this kind of goes into our telecommunications and social media policies and practices, and no more than, we don't allow cell phones in our dugouts or in our bullpen areas. So it'll add into the conversation, absolutely. I think we've hit it hard pretty already, going on based on last year and then even the year before. But now that this has happened at such a high level and the exposure that it's gotten, it's definitely, something that we will be making sure our teams are aware of, that we want to keep everybody on an equal playing field and respect the game and the integrity of the game.
Now, nobody knows yet whether the Boston guys are going to get suspended. People are saying that could happen. What would happen if you found out that somebody was carrying around a buzzer? I mean, what would happen?
Well, in our league, if it was happening, I would say, there would be an investigation. Obviously, I think the player would be suspended indefinitely immediately, right out of the chute. As far as penalties go, if it was proven that the person did utilize a buzzer and there was a cheating scandal like that going on, then I would think that the player would be dismissed from our league completely, both currently for the season as well as for future seasons, if they had eligibility to come back to the league. But also there would be penalties for those involved on the team front office side. It's like, I think that's kind of where everybody's speculation is right now with it, is how many people knew and who what positions did they hold, and there's such large offices at the MLB level for each team. So where does the finger point? And so now with Beltran, to me, is kind of the extra, or maybe the Pandora's box, so to speak, opening with it, because now you're talking about a player being involved, and now with Altuve and such, there wasn't, when they first handed down the punishments, there was nothing really aimed at players. It was all the management and the front office, but not the guys that are actually benefiting from it. And so to me, I'll be curious to see how that matriculates into any new findings or new punishments handed down. But yeah, we would deal with it very swiftly. Obviously, that takes away from the integrity of the game, and that's what's precious about any sport, but especially baseball. So we would work very quickly to get down to the bottom of it, make sure that it's not happening again, and be done with that.
Now, how are the Lexington County Blowfish going to do this year?
I think they'll be pretty good. They've got a new team, or new coach, Matt Paget, and so he brings in a nice resume. I actually was on the phone with their owner yesterday, and he was trying to get me and Matt on the phone to answer a couple questions that Matt had, but I'm expecting them to be very competitive. They've got a great facility, and that environment, being able to draw from South Carolina and Clemson and other area schools, as well as schools across the country, usually yields pretty good talent. They had a down year last year, but I know in speaking with their owner, Bill Shanahan, he's very competitive, wants to have a winning franchise every year, and as all our owners do. And so that was big priority for him, was going out and getting a coach that he feels will lead by example and get them back into the win column.
Last year's winner of the championship has won 2 years in a row. How are they going to do coming up here?
I think they'll field another very strong competitive team. They've done a really good job of finding high quality, what I call diamonds in the rough type players, the nitty gritty D2, D3 guys, and sprinkle in a couple of bigger name school kids, but they get these guys that come in with chips on their shoulder and something to prove. And in summer ball, that's one of the benefits that we've seen over the years is it does allow these guys that maybe doesn't get a camera on them or scout watching them at their local schools because of where they play, now get that ability to shine and get recognized and noticed. And that's exactly what Moorhead started doing a couple of years ago. They've got the same coach in Jesse Lancaster coming back, whose father was a Hall of Fame type coach at Mount Olive University in Eastern North Carolina, won a championship at the D2 level. So he's very well versed in what it takes to win and get guys on the field, and I fully expect that they'll be right back up there in the contention for the playoff run, and we'll see if they make it a three-peat. We've only had one three-peat in our history. That was our High Point Thomasville High Toms franchise back in the mid-2000s, I think 05, 06, 07, somewhere around in there. But we've had a handful that have won back-to-back. But so we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of competition with that division switching over to, or getting larger, and going into two divisions this year. So I think Moorhead will have a little bit more competition than what they've been seeing the last 2 years out of just their division play. But should be a lot of fun. We look forward to seeing them play as well as the others, and seeing if they can challenge the Marlins to get off the cup.
Well, Justin, we want to thank you very much for being with us today. And I got to tell you, if what promotion you could have for the Savannah Bananas and the Macon Bacon at this, oh my heavens, that would be fantastic, don't you think?
Oh yes, absolutely. They do a fantastic job of doing things together, and even our newest franchise with the Chili Peppers, they're one of their 4 or 5 different uniforms this year is going to be all red with green hats. And we've kind of joked inside our office about when the Chili Peppers play the Bananas, you've got banana peppers basically playing on the field. So we have a lot of fun in the Coastal Plain League. Our teams do a great job and creating the family fun and engaging the fans, and our players do a fantastic job of playing at a high level. So we're excited about the 2020 season and look forward to working with you all and anything we can do, let us know. But we appreciate all you guys are doing for the sport and for college summer baseball.
Thank you, Justin, and we will talk to you down the line.